Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Teen Talk Central. In this week's episode, we're talking all about 75 Hard and rules that I'm implementing and kind of rules that all tie into mental health and well-being. If this is something that you want to listen to or you just want to support the show as always, then definitely continue listening to this week's episode. Okay, hey guys, welcome back to another episode. This week's episode is talking all about 75 Hard. I know that 75 Hard is like a huge trend on social media right now, and I kind of wanted to take it into a different perspective and kind of do it more from a mental health perspective, but also kind of tying in fitness and just how to feel good when you're doing this challenge, because I feel like with a lot of people, they get very kind of honed in on this idea of 75 Hard, but then they're not actually like taking care of themselves, and they only do it for 75 days and then they quit. Just like we talked about last episode, we were kind of saying that people do their habits, but then they don't actually like follow through with them, and that can be really, it's kind of useless at that point. So I kind of wanted to explain like my personal 75 Hard rules, what you guys can implement, and what could tie in mental health and fitness. So yeah, let's get started. So first, if you guys don't know what 75 Hard is, it's basically like when you lock in, quote unquote, for 75 days and you completely change your habits. It's usually something fitness related. I know the trend on social media is like 2 heavy workouts a day, drinking a lot of water, what else, reading a book, taking time off social media, all that fun stuff. And there's kind of clear rules, and then it reduces like decision fatigue because you have like a certain amount of rules that you have to follow. And then also usually people post it on social media, so there's this kind of a huge aspect of like public commitment and accountability that you have to follow. A lot of people like to post it on TikTok and stuff, and they're like day 1 of 75 Hard, so it's like obviously now people are gonna watch and see if you complete all 75 days. And I think it feels extremely productive because obviously it's like, oh, every day I'm doing 10,000 steps and all this stuff, but then there is this kind of all or nothing mindset, and then people after the 75 days kind of give up because it's super extreme. So I kind of want to see like what my rules for 75 Hard are, if you guys don't mind. So my first rule is doing 1 heavy workout a day and then 1 light workout. So for me, that's lifting or heavy cardio like the Stairmaster in the morning. And then in the night or afternoon, I like to go on a walk or kind of a light run, just so I can hit my 10,000 step goal, which is kind of the second one. And the reason that this works for me specifically is because this has been kind of a routine that I've been doing for a while. And if I've never done any fitness or anything, I think the more realistic one is first to just do 1 workout a day. That's it, a workout a day. And then on top of that, I try to drink 2 30-ounce water bottles a day, so that's 60 ounces total. So I try to finish one by the end of my morning workout, and then do the other one just kind of throughout the day and into school and out after school ends. If you don't drink a lot of water, again, you can do 30 ounces. It really is all about where is your baseline. I think a lot of people, they see what other people are doing, but they don't even know what that person's baseline is. Maybe they're already super athletic and super fit, so this is just kind of like a little bit of a add-on to what they're already doing, whereas for you it's a huge jump. And then I also am going to try to read 10 pages a day, which has been going well, and it's like 10 pages of any book, and I've already been kind of reading for like the past couple months, so this hasn't been as hard, but it's definitely a little bit hard, but that's how it's supposed to be. This shouldn't, like, 75 Hard shouldn't be quote unquote easy and like smooth sailing. You should have to work a little bit, because that is what 75 Hard is all about. Literally, it's the word 75 Hard. It should be hard. So I've been reading this book called The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls. It's super good. Love the book so far. I've already read like 61 pages in a couple days, so that's pretty good. I've also been reading some like other mental health related books as always. And then kind of finally, I'm going to Japan soon to go see some family, so I've been working on my Japanese every single day, because that's kind of a goal I want to hit. I want to be able to, read, because I can speak and, talk to my grandparents and my aunts and stuff, but I definitely want to be able to read, so that's another goal, but that's a personal goal. And I think you should always kind of characterize your 75 hard with something that is really personal to you, because I feel like it's really fun. And then how do you track, Mia? You might be wondering, how do I like keep myself accountable? Personally, I don't like post it on social media or anything, I guess, besides, the podcast as always. But I have a section of my planner that's called like weeks. And basically, I put a sticker for every day that I complete a 75 hard, and that's been really motivating because I love stickers, and I'm not ashamed to say that I love a good sticker. So every day I finish, I put a sticker, and that makes me really happy. I get a little dopamine boost. Some people might give themselves like, I want to scroll on TikTok for 5 minutes or something like that. Or maybe, if one rule of your 75 hard is 10 minutes of social media a day, maybe your kind of treat could be watching a TV show or something like that. Kind of make it so that it's fun for you and you get something out of it also. But I think the reason why you have to make 75 hard based off of your own baselines is that you're not going to commit and follow through if you're doing something that's way too hard for you. Yeah, maybe you can start to adapt, but that's just not gonna work, at least from personal experience. Obviously everyone's different. Maybe 75 hard is really that boost that you need to just get up and get at it, which is totally fine. But I think there's this, it kind of just helps with consistency over intensity. It's not super intense, or at least for mine, it's not super intense, so it allows me to be more consistent, and then hopefully 75 hard will kind of become like a life thing, and like I can just continue these habits for the rest of my life. And also rest is really important. I think sometimes for people 75 hard, they go 75 days of like go, and also that's not good. You should be resting, and within your 75 hard you should be giving yourself rest days or relaxation. And that doesn't mean you need to slack off necessarily, but you should embed some time to just take some time off, maybe have a rest day in the fitness when you're working out or something, because rest is super important, and your system should not be designed to collapse in a day. Like if you miss one day of 75 hard, that shouldn't be the end of the world. If it wasn't discipline that would kind of shut down your system, it's probably the pressure of if you're posting it on social media. So you should be able to give yourself some time to relax, or else you're kind of over pressuring yourself when it's really not that serious at the end of the day. And locking in should be kind of, I think the phrase should be reframed to like protecting your time and reducing distractions and showing up imperfectly but consistently, I think. And identity-based habits are a lot more durable than challenge-based ones. At the end of the day, that's the identity-based ones are the ones that will really help push you and will be the ones that stay long term. I think like obviously 75 hard as a challenge is like super fun, but you kind of can't think of it as like a challenge. You have to think of it as like your like new identity, and like this is what I'm going to start doing, and that will really help you. At least from personal experience, again, this is all from personal experience, this is the type of stuff that will help you stay long term and committed to this. And just when you're making these 75 hard or 75 identity goals, you should be protecting your time you should be protecting your time from kind of distractions, and you should be making sure that these rules really protect yourself and like your own peace. And you should use a flexible structure, and 75 hard is maybe a bit harsher a word. You can do 75 sauce, or maybe soft or season based discipline. You can kind of have fun, and you can choose a phrase that will help you and like make you feel more motivated. And I think for teens specifically, what you have to be careful about is your developing relationship with control, and comparing the discipline online is definitely a big thing that I think a lot of people struggle with, and mistaking exhaustion for growth. And obviously like our brains are still developing, so extremes hit a lot harder. So you shouldn't, if you go from waking up at 9 a.m. every day to waking up at 4:30 every day, like obviously that is going to make you exhausted, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're growing. So I think discipline isn't about proving how hard you can push, it's about learning how to keep going. And I think that's a really important message that everyone should kind of remember and understand. And I hope that we can all, take this January New Year's resolution time and just grow and learn how we all grow, because I think everyone grows differently. And that's what's so beautiful about the human life, is that everyone is different and unique in their own ways. So thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of Teen Talk Central. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please let me know. Share it to a friend, family member. Just say, hey, I saw this and I thought we could do this together. And yeah, I love you guys so much. And as always, if you have any episode recommendations, leave them down below. DM me on Instagram. You guys can email us. And yeah, I hope you guys all have an amazing week. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.